Okay. Fellow Amazonians, good morning, good afternoon, good evening across the globe, wherever you are. So, I want to,
it's good times, isn't it? It's good.
Yeah.
It's good time to come back.
Yeah.
Every week, back to back.
Yeah, as my how do you call it? My able comrade, the spokesperson of the AG of CA Comrades, Luka Ashu, we promised that we are going to continue to, shine the light or encourage our people, our Amazonians, strengthen their determination in the quest for our liberation.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I'm joined by my fellow comrade, who is unrepentant and who is not blinking, whose eyes on the goal, total and unconditional liberation of Amazonia. Not only liberation, but a sovereign Amazonia, where we will decide what is good for us, define our destiny by Amazonians, without any, grandfather or people grandstanding to talk for us, fight for us, speak for us. That is the type of person that I'm really I'm privileged to share this particular podium with. Fellow Amazonians, I want to bring up something. Over the past weeks, we have experienced and seen where this liberation fight is heading to.
That's right.
We have seen a couple of actions and inactions that is defining our total and unconditional liberation as a people. We have seen our forces chasing the enemy. I'm talking about running their barracks, running their brigades, chasing them, and they are running like kids. This was something that a couple of years back, it was the other way around. Even though then our boys had the dying courage and the quest for liberation, where they were going to these brigades with cutlasses. Now, Larvuri Cameroon is meeting our forces, matching them method by method, and we see them running away. We see them running, and they are chasing them, and they are calling them. They are running like babies into the bushes. These are the so-called terrorists, the terrorist bees, whom initially they showed they were invincible. My fellow comrade, we also want to highlight to Amazonian people the fact that 22nd of September 2017, that was a turning point in Amazonia. People came out north, south, east, west, and defined who we are, what we are, when Comrade Siseko Ayok Tabit, the head of the interim government, called for Amazonians to stand up. What we showed the world till today, we still stand on that turf. To Amazonians, my fellow comrade, there is no room for self-pity. There is no room for us to feel miserable. There isn't. We will not have any self-pity. We will not feel miserable. We will not be in misery, but we'll stay focused on what our valiant soldiers have stood and died for it. Total and unconditional liberation of Amazonia, a sovereign state that we will be the main people controlling our destiny.
Well, people that are, as you already know, people that when you are winning, you feel victorious. When you are winning, there is joy. When you are winning, right, you feel excitement, enthusiasm, right?
Yeah.
You feel glorious.
Yeah.
When you are winning, you feel like a champion, right?
Yeah.
So people that are winning, don't have the feelings of pity. People that are winning don't have feelings of misery. People that are winning don't have feelings of doubts.
Yeah.
Okay? It's people that are losing that experience those depleting and diminishing returns.
Thank you, comrade. Just keep on going. I want to make sure that it's in the right status.
Okay.
Because you always query me about making sure that it's in the right status that people are.
Make it public.
Make it public. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thanks for that. I was trying to check. Okay, I think it is. So thank you.
And if you can send me the link, I'll forward it to a couple of places, please.
Thank you, man. That's helpful. Let me get it. Copy link, and I'll send it to you. You can get it through. Let me just make sure that we cover all the 4 years. I was just making sure that I know that you and I will always have this issue with me locking it in my private or personal.
Let's make it interactive.
Yeah. Okay. Let me send it over to you now, so that we get our people engaged. Thank you. Okay.
Sent?
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Not yet?
I didn't get it.
I thought I sent it to you.
No,
let
me pick it up. Okay. I'll pick it up right now.
Okay.
It seems as if it's private.
No, it's not private. I set it to public.
Okay.
Okay, it should be with you now.
It didn't come through. Yeah, it came through right now.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, thank you, man.
Let me send it to a couple of notify a couple of people so that they can engaged.
I'm not as tech savvy as you are. That's why.
No worries, man. Right, let's roll.
Okay, thanks. Okay. Like as we were saying, comrade, there is no room for self-pity. There is no room for us to feel miserable. We must stay the course with an undying, determination to free Ambazonia. We did set the blueprint on the 22nd of September 2017. We all want to be free. And that is the same, rodeo that we are riding till this current moment that you and I speak. So, comrade, just coming to this, intro, and as you were saying, you were trying to maybe chime in, on the aspect of, not being miserable or desperate or self-pity. You were trying to chime in on that. What do you? I mean, you were trying to feeling something before I interrupted. Sorry about that.
What I wanted to share is we all need to understand there are external circumstances, and then there is how people feel.
Yeah.
To a greater extent, external circumstances really dictate what people think about and how they feel.
Yeah.
So, when you are succeeding in life, when anyone is succeeding, anyone who is succeeding, the progress they are making
Mm-hmm.
triggers certain emotions.
Yep.
Not true?
It's true. It's true.
So when someone is succeeding, what emotions do they feel? They feel passion.
Yeah.
They feel alive.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They feel a sense of joy. They feel a sense of victory. They feel a sense of making progress. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They feel a sense of accomplishment. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It increases confidence. Right?
Yeah.
Right? That's what's happening on the ground zero. The courage of Ambazonians, this bravery that our people have unleashed on the ground,
Mm-hmm.
the daring nature of the actions they are taking, things we've never seen before.
Yeah.
A whole generation is doing things completely out of the box. Nobody ever thought about them. Nobody ever imagined about those things. Now we're seeing things that are almost like out of a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Ground zero, it's a different world. We got a message yesterday from a mama on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mama is jubilating when she watched on ACN the actions carried out by the Ambazonia Defense Forces.
Yep.
In Paco.
Yeah.
Mama is jubilating because that reduces the number of Cameroon occupation military and the ability to invade communities.
Yep.
Rape young girls, rape mothers,
Burn our villages.
commit massacres,
Yeah.
burn down communities, right?
Yeah.
So ground zero it's in euphoria.
Yeah.
Got another message yesterday, which I forwarded to some leaders within the organization.
Mm-hmm.
Of Ambazonian grandparents asking how we pay our liberation tax.
Yeah.
We be papa them way, we be old farmers. Now we don't old. We don't see what we're picking up the do.
Mm-hmm.
Now how we big papa them we pay our liberation tax. That's the optimism on the ground. That is the resilience on the ground. Our people are seeing the light to a free homeland. They are sensing it. They are experiencing it already.
Do you know how
there is a sense of euphoria on the ground? Before we came here, you know what happened on the ground already? You know how many Cameroon soldiers have been killed again today? You know how many were killed yesterday?
Yep.
You know how many were killed on Wednesday?
Yep.
It's on a daily basis. We're in a different place.
Yeah.
This is a whole new generation.
Mm-hmm.
And as you've said, Cameroun has no other choice.
Yeah.
Because they were not prepared for you. They were not prepared for I. They were not prepared for this generation. They were not prepared for the commanders, for the forces. They were not prepared for this. They were not prepared. They've started a fire. They don't know how to put it out.
I call it, comrade, I call it the Traore effect. I would not really openly call it. I can see that the Traore effect has just only boosted the morale of our fighters. Why I say so is because if you look at the same model, the model that the AGOVC put on the ground, my brother, it's the same model that Burkina Faso is using. You know, in Burkina Faso, they have this, what they call a sovereign fund, where they are all, every citizen in Burkina Faso. You know how much they got in the first quarter of this year?
No.
Over $50 million for the defense of homeland. That money is going specifically to the volunteer fighters, not the army. Because the volunteer fighters, they fight alongside with the military. You know, patriot volunteers for the defense of homeland. Every Burkinabe is paying something into the sovereign fund to arm the how to call it, the volunteer fighters, give them weapons, make sure that they are paid, they are fed to defend homeland. It's the same principle that the AGOVC put in the place on the liberation tax. These are concepts that are just working in parallel to what the AGOVC has come up with. And you know, comrade, I bring this up because some people might think that the liberation tax is a foreign concept. It's a concept within a revolutionary structure. Because you know, you and I have heard it in several cases. Oh, liberation tax, what? And ours is just on a one-time basis annually. The Burkina-based people know the importance and the meaning of being free and maintaining their sovereignty. That's why they are contributing on a monthly basis into the sovereign fund.
I have something to add.
Okay, go ahead, comrade.
You've heard of Cicero?
Yeah.
A man who doesn't know what happened before he was born goes through life like a child. Amazonians have gotten a good grasp of what Cameroon is and who they are.
Yep. Yep.
We understand how Cameroon occupied, annexed, and took over Amazonia. That's why, as you mentioned, concepts like the liberation tax.
Yeah.
Well thought of, well designed. Yeah. These are not debates anymore.
Yeah.
Okay? These are laws.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is not debate.
Yeah.
Okay. Those that are arguing about it, the Cameroonese.
Yeah.
And Cameroonese agents.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
If they want to argue about the liberation tax, they should go to Ground Zero and argue about it.
Yeah.
They should not just do it on social media. Go to Ground Zero and go tell Amazonians not to pay the liberation tax.
Yeah.
Okay. If you want to argue about the liberation tax that the AGOVC has introduced, by the way, most of those arguing about the liberation tax or arguing against the liberation tax, do you know that they don't even belong to any movement?
Yeah, you're right.
Notice that?
You're right. I noticed it.
Okay. So what is the point of trying to over-explain a policy that the people have accepted, they've adopted, and they are paying?
Yeah, yeah.
So we don't have to over-emphasize on things that the people are doing. We have to applaud the people and not to emphasize and fight against those that
the paid agents.
No, but that is a waste of most of our time.
Right, you're right.
Because you're fighting with someone who has no interest for your freedom, has no interest to the lives of our children. They have no interest. Their interest is to protect and keep Cameroon, Amazonia under Cameroon's occupation.
Mm-hmm.
So we should spend most of our time to focus on what we are doing that is working.
Yeah.
View what we are doing that is not working. Come up with better
strategies. Yeah.
See how we can empower, encourage, and support, elevate the people on the ground, the fighters, and how we can boost their performance in terms of material supply, in terms of their effectiveness in the battlefield, in terms of their improvement in intelligence gathering and execution of missions. Yeah. So the game has changed.
Yep.
It's a new game.
Yeah.
Ambazonia is on the offensive. Cameroon is on the run. Ambazonia is on the offensive. Cameroon is on the run. The last 6 weeks have been very catastrophic to the Cameroon occupation military. They don't know where to hide.
Yeah.
So, no, there's no hiding place.
They thought the Amokans could hide them, but it's even more risky, even more.
There's nowhere for them to hide.
There's nowhere for them to hide, bro.
You know where they are hiding now?
No.
They are deserting.
Yeah.
Okay? They are now
a
mass number of Cameroon soldiers that are
deserting. Yeah.
That are walking off the battlefield. All right? That are resigning. They're not even resigning. Okay? They're just ghosting. I think that's the right word. They're just ghosting to go make money in Ukraine, Russia, to live a better life than to be dying for 42,000 francs. Let's go to our discussion, please, before we get carried away.
Yeah, comrade. You
have specific topics.
There are a couple of things I want us to touch on today. Yeah, there is this UN report that is really implicating the French DGSE, you know, of their involvement in the Ngabu massacre. What is the implication of that in this revolution, and what should our people know the length and depth of the enemy that we are fighting? Can you throw more light on that? Because this report, so what can you say about that? In defining our enemy, the enemy we're fighting.
Cameroon's war in Ambazonia is driven by entrenched French exploitative interest. They gave Cameroon independence without substance. They killed Cameroon nationalists and installed puppets in exchange for free natural resources. For them to get to that point where these puppets became rulers and governors and authority in Cameroon, killed 450,000 Bamilikes, 450,000 Cameroonese were murdered, slaughtered. That's how the French were able to instill fear in the psyche of the Cameroonese people. We discussed this the last time.
Yeah.
400,000 Cameroonese were murdered by the French and the Cameroon military and the Cameroon forces, intelligent forces then were murdered. That is the playbook. That is the foundation of the state of Cameroon. Violence, massacres, assassination, killings is the foundation of the state of Cameroon. What the French are trying to do, remember the French succeeded in Cameroon. They succeeded by killing 400,000 Cameroonese. Has anyone gone to jail?
Nope.
But the evidence is out there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's in plain sight.
That's a form of genocide.
Oh, yeah, it was a genocide.
Yeah.
The evidence is out there. The French are still ruling Cameroon today.
Yeah.
No one is in jail. Guess who's still running Cameroon? The same people that carried out the massacres, and the genocide. It's the same people. The class of the beer. They are the ones, the French, have guns on their head for free natural resources. So they have a playbook. That is that playbook they want to replicate in Amazonia. Let me make this to be more explicit to Amazonian people.
Mm-hmm.
The French are having free natural resources in exchange for Mr. Biya and the oligarchs to be in power. For example, what's coming out of CDC, what's coming out of Panmore, and all the other natural resources in Amazonia that make up 65% of Cameroon's GDP. A product is in the market for, let's say, a barrel of oil, $60 or $70 right now. The French will have it for $5.
Wow. Anyway, you're right. That's what we're doing in Indonesia.
So what they are doing, the reason the French, the French Director General de Sécurité Extérieure, which is their external security services, intelligence services. Okay, that's what they are doing in Amazonia. The same thing they did to the Bamili case and other Cameroonese. It's the exact same thing they're doing in Amazonia. It's no difference. So this is what we need to understand. France is directly involved in Cameroon's war in Amazonia. They are the ones giving directions. They are the ones directing, controlling, and drawing plans. Every single action that is taken in Amazonia is controlled by the French.
Yeah.
So, if the United Nations, after completing their investigation, they have openly implicated the French intelligence services in directly being involved in the Ngabu massacre. So what about the massacre in Kumba?
The Pinye massacre also.
What about the one in Kumba, in St. Francis?
Yeah.
What about the one in Pinyin? What about the one in Mamfe? Is it possible that they also orchestrated, directed those ones as well? Is it possible?
It's possible.
This is what we are facing. And we should not take it lightly.
Yeah.
What we all need to understand, to the French, to the British, you are nothing. Their interest, the survival of their state, of their economy, is more important to them than the lives of 8 million people.
Yep.
Okay, let's bring this home. It's been about 70 years that the state of Israel was created. They gave them a state, well-defined boundaries. That is not enough. That has never been enough for them. 70 years later, they're still fighting everybody within that block to take more land. All sort of massacres, genocides have been committed in the last 70 years. So if anyone is sitting and waiting for someday for the same people that are benefiting from free natural resources to call for an end to the conflict, you're dreaming.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Anyone who is sitting and waiting that someday the French, the British will call for negotiations, you're dreaming. Because calling for negotiations means they are going to lose the privileges they have in free natural resources. Because you, the Amazonian people, will become the owners and controllers of those natural resources. So that's why they will provide more arms to Cameroon. They'll provide more diplomatic support to Cameroon. They'll provide more propaganda materials to Cameroon. They will even indict and charge Amazonian activists in order to help Cameroon. And that's what they are doing. So we should take our war of liberation very seriously. This is an existential fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
You win or you die.
Yeah. Homeland or death. Yeah.
You win or you die. And if it's existential, based on what the forces on the ground are doing, they know it's existential.
Yeah.
That's why they are not messing around.
Yeah.
Becoming occupation military.
Yeah.
They understand it's existential.
Mm-hmm.
The lives of 8 million plus Amazonians is at stake. It must be protected and it must be defended. All those that are working, collaborating with Cameroon are accessories to the conflict, and they also
Sure.
anyone who wants to give Cameroon legitimacy or some form of compensation in terms of occupation governance as beneficiaries, that's a price. This is the message Amazonians need to send across the territory. And this is the significance of ADF triumphant comeback action in Fako early this week. Ground Zero is not joking. Cameroon is going down. We must bring Cameroon down. We as a people must bring Cameroon's occupation in Amazonia to an end in order to end French entrenched interest of exploitation. The survival of the state of France depends upon the exploitation of African natural resources. As Mr. Chirac said decades ago, without Africa, France would be worse than a third world country.
You know, comrade, I like your clear, succinct analysis. If you don't know what you are fighting, If you don't understand what you are fighting and you are pretending to see it and call it for the way it is, you will never win the battle.
Remember what Cicero said. A man who doesn't know what happened before he was born goes through life like a child. You must understand the pain Cameroon has caused our people.
Yeah. Yes.
And the conditions of poverty and deprivation they have imposed on us in order to subjugate our people to maintain the benefit of exploitation.
Comrade, there's something I also want to let Amazonians know, and we have to keep on making it as a reminder. Every economic resources leaving our territory is our legal responsibility to seize it. Any economic benefit or resources going to Cameroon from Amazonia is the legal responsibility for Amazonians to seize it. Take it, it is yours. Don't you think that you are going to stop or you are inconveniencing? No, it is your resources that you are taking out to go and arm their terrorist regimes, feed their fat cows in France, for them to buy weapons and come and kill you. You have that legitimate right to seize any resource that the Republic of Cameroon is exploiting by territory. You have the right to stop it. Economic embargo is a must. We must stop any form of resources leaving our land into the Republic of Cameroon. And you bring a very clear point, because they are losing ground in the AES state. So the France now pressed. Whatever area that they have under their grasp, they are doing everything possible to hold tight to it. We need to make this clear to Amazonians. Comrade, go ahead. You might have this point to say.
Well, the world has changed.
Yeah, yep.
And the world is rapidly changing. I don't know how many people are paying attention to what happened yesterday in Moscow. I don't know how many people paid attention to the Victory Day parade, the 80th anniversary of Victory Day that was celebrated in the Red Square in Moscow. As the Americans say, Moscow. I don't know why people are paying attention. This is why these losers are frightened to the core.
Mm-hmm.
This is why they are frightened to the core. Because they have been savages.
Yeah, that's the right word.
From the beginning of time.
Yeah.
They use the introduction of Christianity,
mm-hmm.
and commit all sorts of massacre.
Yeah.
Then they used it also to gain access to these communities, and then started slavery.
Yeah.
Bundle our people out for more than 200 years.
Yeah.
That's not enough. Then they have to colonize.
Enslave us in our own land. Colonization is a slavery, form of slavery.
Then colonize those people.
Mm-hmm.
And continue the exploitation. So, the killings using Christianity wasn't enough. The
enslavement
that were killed because they were refusing to be exported as commodities
mm-hmm.
to the development of the West. Those that eventually made it across. As if that wasn't enough. Colonize the people. And then now it's resource exploitation and colonization again, or neocolonialism now.
Yeah.
So this is why it's important for all of us. For how long? So sometimes people have to say enough is enough, right?
Yeah.
And when people say enough is enough, then that statement should have meaning. It should
Yeah.
have substance. Traore has said enough is enough. Okay? The Israelis were homeless for most of their existence until the Balfour Declaration that granted them a homeland. Once they had a homeland, what happened to them? Once they went through the Holocaust, 4 million Jews were killed. They decided to build a homeland. And from the first day, they vowed, never again. Never again will a Jewish child, a Jewish woman, a Jewish man, a Jewish boy, a Jewish girl ever go through such dehumanization. So sometimes, as much as you and I and most of us, we don't like what they're doing to other humans, but if you study their history and what they've been through, and why they have to take such, sometimes, they go through extremes to protect what is theirs, to defend that homeland. I'm not condoning the actions of Israel. I'm just making a point.
Yeah, maybe that will surely be a topic for another day.
All I'm trying to say is the Amazonian people have to understand we must not accept genocide and massacres. We must not. We collectively must rise up. In the last 7 decades, all the Jews in the diaspora, they send hundreds of billions of dollars for the defense of the state of Israel. All the Jews across the globe, they send hundreds of billions of dollars for the defense of the state of Israel. It's the only homeland they now have. Amazonia is the only homeland we have.
Yeah.
Amazonia is the only homeland we have. We cannot change geography. It's the only thing we have. So our goal is, how do we mobilize all Amazonians in the diaspora to have a sense of a homeland, to speak that language? Just because you left back home decades ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, should not make you forget where you came from. You're still a stranger.
We'll touch on that.
No. This is the topic.
Yeah, welcome. Okay, this is the topic you bring it, because you know when you say
driving a point, you're driving a point.
Go ahead, brother.
The Jews are funding, supporting the defense of the state of Israel. All Jews in the diaspora, all their billionaires, millionaires, no matter what they earn and who they are, Israel is their homeland. And they are defending it. We, the Amazonian people, what we owe ground zero, Amazonians in the diaspora, what we owe ground zero collectively as a people, it is to fund the defense of that homeland.
Yeah.
It is to stop Cameroun's massacre of our people, of our children, of our mothers. It is to fund that homeland. We are wealthy enough. We are rich enough. Cameroon is a backward, broke savages. A little bit of contribution from Ambazonia to the diaspora will change everything on the ground.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
One Ambazonian, one Ambazonian in the diaspora. They know how to contribute money without anybody having the burden of, oh, what will happen to me if I'm investigated? Now there is a legal process, a legal platform, just like Ambazonians are contributing to APAC, CPAC, MAGA, the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, the National Rifle Association, and all other, whether it's NAACP, whatever organization, all these human rights and civil rights movements, the billions and hundreds of thousands that Ambazonians are contributing to these organizations. We now also have an organization for the liberation of Ambazonia, for lobby, for political purposes, for diplomacy, for humanitarian. All Ambazonians, this is what we need to be doing now, because we need to complement what the forces on the ground are doing.
Yeah. Look
at the kinds of actions they are carrying. Very bold actions. This should move Ambazonians. Well, I'm really very touched by some Ambazonians that are coming on board and looking at the contributions, the defiance of leaders in jail. Siseko Ayoktabe put out a statement early this week, or early last week, that stones will rise up and fight for Ambazonia.
Yeah.
Dr. Cho is sending out letters on a monthly basis to increase the resistance and the defiance, to encourage forces and fighters. Abdul Karim is doing the same. So if those that are in jail, they have so much confidence and they are showing so much defiance and unity, what about those that are out here? I get calls from many Ambazonian grandmothers, yes, that have been retired in the United States. You know what they are crying for?
Homeland.
They want to go back to homeland.
Yeah.
I'm calling on all these grandmothers. Most of you have worked most of your life. You have pension. Start making a monthly contribution if you want to go back to homeland.
Homeland, yeah.
Okay. For most of you, your children are also calling that you are tired of being in the diaspora. Get your children to be contributing. You want to go back to the homeland? You need to contribute for the liberation of the homeland you want to go back to.
Yeah.
On a monthly basis. Because the forces on the ground are doing magical work and we all have to applaud them.
Yeah.
Let's, you and I, take the time to thank the newly reinstalled, yes, ADF ACO Brigade that was disbanded right after 11 February of 2023. They are back. It's a new unit. And those that are leading the charge are victims of Cameroon's genocide. These young men and young women, yes, that were kids when Mr. Biya murdered their mothers, their fathers, their brothers, their sisters, and render them homeless. They have grown up. They know what happened to them. They know what happened to their parents. They know what happened to their communities. They are now the commanders on the ground.
You know, you bring this point, comrade. You bring this point about the FACO brigade. The FACO brigade. You know, it drives home the message that, you know, you hear at times some people say, "Oh, the revolution." You don't hear. No, the revolution is alive and well. You know, because all of a sudden, boom, they hear FACO brigade acting out. Things can go numb or mute. It doesn't mean that things are not moving. Ambazonians should understand that this is a one-way journey. The revolution is across the territory of Ambazonia. Not too long. From where you hail from, we heard about around the border region. Over 13 Liberia Cameroun were taken down.
Were they expecting? No one was expecting.
That's what I'm saying.
No one was expecting the IED strike.
Mm-hmm.
Cameroon occupation forces in Munyenge.
Yeah.
No one was expecting it, right?
Yep. No one was expecting. Yeah.
Was Cameroon expecting it?
Nope.
Were those thugs expecting it?
No. So is it across the territory? We will pick our place, our time, in our own choosing, and inflict pain on the enemy.
Bro, it's a new generation of fighters.
Yeah.
This is the new generation of fighters. All of these young men and women were 9-10 years old when the conflict
started.
Abia launched this ethnic cleansing, genocide, and war on the Ambazonian people. There were 12, there were 13, there were 14 years old. Some of them, they are what? In their late teens.
Yeah.
Okay. Some of them are 22 now. Some are 23. Some are 24. These are dead devils that have vowed. They have pain.
Yeah.
They are translating that pain
into action,
into insurmountable courage, into unmatched bravery. They have become invincible in how they act and the kind of actions they carry out. You've killed their moms, you've killed their dads, you've murdered their uncles, you've raped their aunts, you've raised down their community. What else do they have to lose? What else? All right? These are people now that are driven by a sense of revenge. It's payback time. It's payback time. This is what's happening across the Ambazonian territory. So now you have hundreds of thousands of these young men and women that are now the new generation of fighters. It's an ugly game for Cameroon. Cameroun has no choice. There's no way. And Ambazonia will keep expanding and growing because we are adapting to the realities on the ground and recalibrating on how to fight the kind of fight that is on the ground now. This is not 2017.
Yeah.
Okay. This is 2025. This is not 2018.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we understand even on the ground.
Yeah.
There are some that are called Ambazonian fighters. But they are only there to make sure that no other force exists. They are there to protect the interest of the occupier.
The enemy, yes.
So we've learned our lessons, and we know now how to operate and move across the territory. We know who they are.
Yeah.
They know themselves too. So it's a different game. Nationalists are controlling the ground, and Cameroon has no other choice. Cameroon will crawl. Mr. Biya will go down on his knees with his hands up. He probably may not. Look, Biya might commit suicide, just like a lot of the Nazi leaders did. Mr. Biya and some top Cameroon officials, they end up committing suicide because they don't know how to face this defeat. The Atlantic states is awake.
Yeah.
Okay? What has started in Fako, it's now all across Amazonia. The last few weeks have been catastrophic to Cameroon occupation forces. The next few weeks will be more deadly.
Yeah. I did see a communique out. You know, the agents are out there still at their work. You know, I saw a communique out there that the AGOVC is endorsing Kamto as the presidential candidate, you know, for the Republic of Cameroon sham election that they're trying to conduct. Can you speak more to that fakery, and what are they angling at, and what is their thought process behind putting such a fake communique out? I mean, the enemies of Amazonia.
The communique came from two sources.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The Cameroon military intelligence. One day after the Amazonia Defense Forces delivered a bloody nose to Cameroon specialized forces called the Bees,
Mm-hmm.
and their paramilitary, the gendarmes.
Mm-hmm.
The armor car that was taken out in Fako is one of the most, according to Cameroon, that is one of their most superior APC.
Wow.
$500,000 down the drain in 3 seconds. So now you have something you said is the most superior, which means it can overcome such conditions as IEDs.
Yeah.
If the IED can destroy that and turn it into pieces of metal junk,
mm-hmm.
then think about what this new generation of these IEDs that these new have created, what it will do to the inferior AP, to the inferior pieces of steel they call armor cars and trucks and military trucks. Mm-hmm. Think about it, right?
Yeah.
So Cameroon cannot fathom, they can't think, they don't want to accept the reality of what ADF has done to them in Fako. Remember, Fako is the most protected state in Amazonia.
Yeah.
That is the center. Fako is more protected than Bamenda.
Yep.
Because that to them is the Amazonian treasure. Remember? Mm-hmm. That's the capital of Amazonia.
We're always heading to Boya.
That's the direction we are all heading.
That's the direction we're heading to, yes.
So Fako is more protected Buea is more protected than Bamenda. Remember, Manowobe is not too far.
Yeah.
All right, their military headquarters in Ambazonia. It's not too far from there. They don't want to accept. They don't want their public to pay too much attention to that bloody nose they experience. So they have to immediately cook up something and throw to the public to distract the Ambazonian public, so that, because Ambazonians like to fight among themselves, right? Even when they know that it's fake, they want to argue about it, they want to fight about it, they want to debate about it, in order to mentally delete the victory they just achieved in Fako.
Yeah.
So it's a strategy of deletion. Let me mentally, psychologically, and social medially delete ADF victory, Ambazonian victory in Fako, and let me introduce something which you will spend your time focusing on, debating on, right? The AGOFC and the Ambazonian people have nothing to do with Cameroon occupation elections.
Yeah.
Okay? Whether it's Mr. Bia, whether it's Maurice Kamto, whether it's Akeremuna, whether it's Joshua Osi, they are all birds with the same feathers. They are all the same. It doesn't matter. Number one, there are no elections in Cameroon.
Yeah.
Because everything is predetermined. CPDM, there's no magic. I don't care how many voodoo houses Cabral Libil go to do incantations. And I don't care how many men of God or women of God, Mr. Kamto and Joshua Osi, go for them to preach. For them, there will be no magic. The CPDM will declare themselves victory. That's why Tanganji is there. All right.
Yep.
Tanganji is there. That's why it's the Ministry of Territorial Administration. Okay. That's why all the chiefs and all the funds. This is a game. The fake communique put out by Cameroon was put out by internal opposition, the internal Ambazonian opposition, and by the Cameroon intelligence, in order for them to start this process of discrediting the AGOFC. That it has some, like, it's favoring one faction of the Cameroon government. No, this is all part of
game.
But that's why we must remind Cameroon, your tactics, your game. Remember, around 2022, just within the period of the Swiss talks, they were putting out fake communiques on a daily basis using Dr. Cho's signature.
Yep.
Okay. This is not new for us.
Yeah, you're right.
We know where this is coming from.
Yeah.
What I want to tell Ambazonians is, save your life. The elections in Cameroon have nothing to do with your future. The elections in Cameroon have everything to do to entrench French interest in Cameroon and to keep the puppets in power. We've all seen the 5,000, the 2,000, the 1,000 that are circulating out there. You know who you are. You know what the AGOFC is. You know what we stand for. So when you see such communiques, these are all signs of deep desperation of an enemy that has lost the war and doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, comrade, recently in the diaspora, particularly in these crazy times that we find ourselves in the States, we hear of the current administration looking to sign agreements with Libya and also Rwanda to house deported Africans and Arab migrants. Hearing this, What does that signify to Amazonians? Because you made a recent call, just a few minutes ago, you made a statement. Amazonia is all Amazonians in the diaspora's real estate. The only place you can call home, the only safe place you have in this world is Amazonia. That is our real estate. That we need to fight for it. Now we are hearing that the current administration, they're looking for places to bundle up maybe Africans and Arabs and dump them in.
Yeah.
Isn't it a wake-up call from what you just said, that we might have been out of the country 20, 30 years thinking that home, that is home? What does it, let me just, what's your take on this? Because you need to drive this straight home into the Amazonians that are out and they've been looking at this whole thing from outside and not thinking that it is their thing.
The world is changing, right?
Yes.
So these countries, especially the United States,
yeah,
that has propagated itself to be the messiah of the planet.
Mm-hmm.
It's experiencing something they've never experienced before.
Mm-hmm.
The first time in human history. I mean, for the first time in the last 40 years, not for the first time in the last 40 years. Who they thought they are, the powers they thought they have, doesn't exist anymore. The influence they thought they have doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
The war in Russia, which I'm asking all Amazonians to go listen to experts, not CNN and not BBC, all right? Go on YouTube, listen to experts, go watch Scott Ritter, Larry Johnson. These are former military officials of the United States, former CIA intel analysts. They will tell you the raw deal. Go listen to Professor Sachs of Columbia University. Go listen to Professor John Mearsheimer, the superstar political scientist on the planet from University of Chicago. Go listen to these experts. The US has lost its grip. Mr. Trump is trying to create something new. So human rights have become zero rights in the Trump administration. Doesn't like poor migrants. Let me call it that way.
Yeah.
Okay. Doesn't like economic migrants because Mr. Trump believes you are a burden and you bring crime, you bring fraud, you have a corrupt culture, so doesn't want you.
Even though I would still argue also there is some spice of racism. There's also some spice of racism in it. I understand. I'm just trying to chime. I'm just chiming and adding up.
I'm not Mr. Trump.
Yeah.
This is
I understand.
He's making policies. He wants to transfer about, according to estimates,
thousands of South Africans.
About 300,000. About 300,000
South Africans.
No, Africans.
Out of Africa?
From the United States to deport them.
Into Africa. Yeah, you're right. Sorry. Yeah, you're right.
To send them back. These are refugees. These are students that have, they no longer have legal stay within the United States. All right. These are asylum seekers. These are economic migrants that have not found a path to permanent residence or citizenship.
Yep.
He wants to get rid of them. What this is, it's sending a message to you listening, to all of us. The places you thought were safe, places you thought were stable,
Mm-hmm.
are no longer safe. They're no longer stable for you. They are safe and stable for others. Not for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the messaging.
If you are from France, you're okay. Okay. If you are from the UK, you're all right. If you're from Germany, you're all right. If you're from Norway, you're all right. If you're from Cameroon, where you have a murderous dictator and a looter, you're in deep shit. If you're from Nigeria, you're being controlled by another ghost, and you're in those, and you fall under that category, you're in deep shit. If you're from Rwanda, Namibia,
Sudan.
if you're from Sudan, right? You're in deep shit. If you're from Ghana, you're a little bit safe.
I don't think so.
I'm just saying. Ghana is not in that list. Remember, Ghana is not in that list. So if you're from Ghana, you're a little bit safe. So maybe some of you have to start to think about how you have to change your citizenship. I'm gonna make sure
That's
all right.
That's true.
So what's going on?
Yeah.
What's going on is number one, it's a tragedy. It's a catastrophe for most of our people. But it's also a wake-up call.
Yep.
For the continent. Because what will these puppets, they have not been able to take care of those within those countries. Now imagine adding another 300,000. What do you think will happen? So Africans should be expecting an African Spring. Remember the Arab Spring?
Yeah.
That changed the entire Middle East. Something like that could erupt any time from now.
It's already brewing up with from the AES as the epicenter.
No, those are different setup. What I'm talking about is just pure civil unrest. I'm not talking about military coup.
No, I'm talking about, I get what you're saying. I'm talking about Africans.
Pure civil unrest. When you have this mass number of people deported, they will hold those leaders accountable. So it's not good. It's not good, but it's also good. This is an opportunity. Let's focus on Amazonia.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to bring the topic home.
This is, according to estimates, the 7,000 people are talking about TPS, people within TPS that qualify for TPS that will be probably be deported. The current estimate is that there are about 40,000 Amazonians and Cameroonese. About 40,000 that will be directly affected by this policy. 40,000. We need to wake up. All of us need to wake up. So out of the 40,000, most of them are probably Amazonians affected by the war. Some will be Cameroonese, probably what? 40%, 60% will be Amazonians.
Yeah.
So you're looking at what? 24,000 people? Bro, we need to wake up. This is a call for urgency, for urgent action. All of us. Amazonia is the only homeland we have. Why are we allowing ourselves to go through this humiliation?
Humiliating, yeah.
Why? Why? Because we don't want to contribute $100 a month.
I'm telling you.
Okay. We can easily knock La République du Cameroun out within 90 days. If we analyze what's happening, come together as a people, and take strong actions. This is a wake-up call. This is a wake-up call. It's a wake-up call. We need to get our country back. Give our people the respect and dignity they deserve.
Dignity, yeah.
If you look at countries in the Persian Gulf, are they going through the same thing?
Nope.
Why? Because over the last 10 years, they predicted what's about to happen. And they took decisions. They pulled their investments. The United Arab Emirates, they pull out about almost $700 million.
Billion.
$700 billion from the United States right after 9/11, and created a 10-year economic development plan focused on transforming their economy. Today, look at the UAE. It's the envy of the globe. It's the center of international trade in that region, a financial hub, the number one tourism hub in the world, world-class infrastructures. We can do it.
Sure.
It's a wake-up call for all of us. If we don't like what's happening, this is an opportunity.
We can change it. We should change it.
This is an opportunity. It's also an opportunity for you and I to call on these 24,000 Amazonians that have been directly affected and could be deported to Libya and be put in concentration camps.
Wow.
Remember, don't blame Libya for accepting this deal with Mr. Trump. Because why should Mr. Trump be saying, why should I create so many holding cells in the United States? Okay? It cost us billions of dollars. I'd rather pay Libya maybe 2-3% of that. They will be very happy. Okay? Rwanda will be very happy. A lot of these countries will be very happy to take this and have all these Africans in there. But what will be the consequences on those countries? What will be the consequences on Libya? What will be the consequences on Rwanda? To have 40,000, 100,000 migrants, to have 200,000. Bro, it's a different, we should think about this. I think we should have a conference call with some of my consulting experts on this topic so that we have a lot more knowledge on what's happening in the background and what will be the political, economic, social implication on this policy, on these migrants and those countries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's a wake-up call for Amazonia.
Yeah. So, thanks very much. I mean, I couldn't put it better than what you have just said, because people think that they always down nothing. They don't know it can hit you straight into your heart directly. You know, we are saying that let's fight for our own real estate, our own homeland. Look at Jews across the world. They know they have Israel as their homeland. If they shit hit the fan anywhere, they are going to Israel. That's how the Jews they have structured their mind.
That's why they are investing in
defending of their homeland. Yes. That's what we want. That's what Ambazonians should be doing globally. Okay, comrade, there's this last point I want to touch on. These people are always, they never cease to amaze us, like the Republic of Cameroun and France.
So when you said this, I wanted to ask you.
Like the Republic of Cameroun and France.
Who are those?
they never cease to amaze us. The likes of Atanganji, the criminal, and the likes of Dion Gute, who came to become a prime minister. These guys, because they are desperate, don't have anything. They don't have anything more to offer. I was just thinking it through. They might still, because of in the course of the desperation, because you can see how that country is crumbling. And we Ambazonians are the ones causing that pain in that country, the economic pain on them. In their attempt to try to, normalize us or hoodwink us, they might try to pull a fast one on us by bringing in the likes of Cameroun as the president of that country. They never cease to amaze us in order to tamper us and try to, blindside us, blind fool us to think that, oh, okay, Akeremona is an Anglophone. Okay, let's just hold him down. So, what is your take? Because that's all the game that they can pull that fast one.
Say it again. Just repeat what you just said, right? This is fascinating. Just repeat what you just said.
No, you see, from the moment when the Atanga Ponji become the Minister of Territorial Administration, when we started putting pressure on the fact that we are leaving, Ambazona is going its own separate way. They were doing everything to appease us by bringing this criminal called Atanga Ponji, gave him a Minister of Territorial Administration that no Anglo has ever had that position. They brought in the likes of Dion Gute and gave him the Prime Minister post. All those were tools to appease us, but we say we are done. Nothing you will do that is going to stop us from going our way, our separate way. I'm just saying that because they're desperate. You might see them trying to pull the first one by bringing in the like of Akere Mona, the Mona who is now who is trying to campaign to become the president of La République du Cameroun.
Go ahead. Keep talking.
So yeah, are you not seeing that angle that they might try to really, hoodwink us and bring in someone like him to become a president of in their attempt, in the president of La République du Cameroun, in their attempt to, cool down our temper and try to dissuade us from our quest for independence? Because they might be bringing someone like that, because that is my thing, because I'm looking at it. What is his political party? And he is a little bit vocal. If the French can come and install the president of Chad, Idriss Déby's son, if he can come and impose and install a military leader in a country where he has some nuances across the continent and he's attacking other military leaders in other parts of the country and condoning others, he might pull this first one because that country is in turmoil. Like Cameroun is in turmoil. They might try to pull this first one on us by bringing that dude. So what's your take on that? What's your thinking? Because that's something they might try to do.
Oh man, guess what? That would be the biggest mistake the French have made. A civil war will erupt in Cameroon. If the French orchestrate a regime change operation in Cameroon, there will be a civil war. Instantly. You have all these CPDM elites. You have all these chiefs and fonds across La République. You have all these levels of power Mr. Biya has created over the last 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
They are in charge across the board. Now, let's go with your thesis. Let's assume that they decide to change the central government, which is install Akere Mona. Remember, Mr. Biya controls the parliament, controls the Senate, controls the Constitutional Council, controls the B, controls the Presidential Guard, and recently, about last year, he made significant changes within the military and security structures of Cameroon. Significant changes. All of these moves are in anticipation. What they are doing, they are putting loyalists in key position to defend the interest of the CPDM system. You made a point about appointing Mr. Tanganji Paul to appease Ambazonians. No, it wasn't to appease Ambazonians. It was to use an Ambazonians against Ambazonians. It wasn't to appease Ambazonians.
Was it like a mirror screen to show the world that they are having an Ambazonian there, but to use him against us?
No, it has nothing to do with that.
Okay.
Paul is very vicious. Making him, imposing him as electing him, appointing him as a minister of territorial administration Atanganji Paul will be very harsh on the governors, SDOs, DOs, chiefs, and fonts to entrench the system. Okay?
Yeah.
There will be no rule of law. It's brute force and violence to impose that system.
Okay.
That's the role of Atanganji Paul.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they're doing that to say, okay, well, the state is balanced, at least he's
from that side.
From that part of, so he made, the regime is being more reasonable, in a balanced approach. Yeah, but not people like Atanganji Paul. Diongute, yes. But they've always done that. It's a mirror dressing. It's never worked.
Yeah.
Because the system was not created to appease Ambazonians. The system was created to crush any Ambazonian opposition or uprising, including using the colonial prime minister. Number one, know that he has no voice. Okay? He's just a little paper tiger. He's just a tiger on paper. He's just a tiger on paper. He's a prime minister on paper. Realistically, he has no power. He's just a prime minister on paper. So he has no influence. He's just using him as a poster boy for propaganda and diplomatic purposes. So there won't be no war. These CPDM elites that have governed Cameroon for 40 years. That's why no one else, I don't care who they are, I don't care how charismatic they are. Elections in Cameroon is a joke. The system has been there for 40 years. They have mastered how to, they understand the Cameroonese. Okay? The willpower of a Cameroonese lasts within 24 hours. So they agitate within 24 hours, pull out the Brazzaville truck.
The whole story comes to an end.
Pull out the Brazzaville truck. They agitating. Mr. Biya will call for a big rally in the stadium there in Douala to bring 2 Brazzaville trucks, free food, play. What is that? Douala? No, Makosa. Makosa is from Douala, right?
Yeah.
The Douala dance, what is it called? Makosa? Okay, they'll play, they'll bring people like Dede Yango, and Deka, Grace Deka, right? They bring those people and then they give them free booze with 2,000. That's all it is. With a t-shirt, with some bread and sardine, everyone goes home. All right? What they will do that night, they'll play the music that night, make them feel good that night, okay? And then they bring them a lot of, you know, the people in La Republique, you know, free, just give them.
Yeah.
Bring a lot of free girls.
Yeah.
For both the men and the women. Have drinks, eat bread and sardine, dance.
That's it.
And be stupid. All right?
Yeah.
Okay? You wake up the next day, you don't know what happened. So that's La Republique for you. That's how they win election in La Republique. Mr. Biya understand that. So no matter how much the French may want to use someone like Akire or someone else or Joshua Osi, by the way, the SDF only have 5 seats in the colonial assembly. 5. You know this 5? Mr. Biya appointed them because they can easily ban them. They can come up with some fictitious stuff and said, no, you can't contest here. No, you can't campaign there. No, you can't do. That's it. Game over.
Yeah.
They did that in the last regional election. They banned the SDF in all of the southern states. They banned them. And CPDM swept the whole place.
It's really a banana republic.
So don't worry yourself about a regime change operation in La Republique. It won't happen.
So if Popo closes his eyes now, what are you thinking? What are you see? What's your take on it?
Even if Mr. Biya dies today, tomorrow, next week, whatever happens, the CPDM oligarchs are ready like hawks. They are ready. They are all ready
to fight for the position.
They ain't giving it up. They've tasted power, they've tasted fame, they've tasted money, they've tasted wealth. Who wants to give that up? Nobody. So we want CPDM to remain in power because it's the easiest ticket for Ambazonians' independence. Let me warn Ambazonians. A regime change operation in Cameroon will not be good for Ambazonia. I've said this many times. I'll still say it again. As much as analysis point to the fact that the chances are very slim, but we should also look into it. I should also warn Ambazonians that the Republic can pull a fast one on Ambazonians by orchestrating an internal game within Ambazonians. That's why we need to be very watchful. These are very delicate moments. It just happened in Palestine. Okay? The Republic came out, got the PLO to distance themselves on anything Hamas, which is the fighting force.
Yeah.
Now they created that divide. So we should be very watchful. These are very tempting times. We should be very watchful that during this period, as we get closer to the elections, La République might pull out some of its proxy forces in Ambazonia and declare that they have surrendered. I'm not kidding. We should be very watchful. These are delicate moments. The War Council understands this. The AGOFC understands this. That's why we are rebuilding camps in certain places and in certain units in certain places, because we know what could happen or what might happen. We should be very careful. These are all possibilities we all should keep in mind. Also, we should also, at the back of our mind, a little bit of 10%, also consider the possibility of a regime change operation in order to exit Mr. Biya. They could assassinate Mr. Biya. Mr. Biya could commit suicide. Mr. Biya could be assassinated.
Or he can die. He's a 90-something-year-old man.
Anything can happen in La République. No, when Mr. Biya dies, if it's natural death, the CPDM will immediately replace Mr. Biya. That's obvious. But what we should anticipate an assassination on Mr. Biya, which will trigger the military to respond, and then there could be a military takeover. There are so many
scenarios
we all should be thinking and looking into of what could possibly happen in Cameroon.
And how we have to adjust.
Now, besides all of this, the plans are on the ground. Ambazonia is ready for any eventuality. The forces are conducting drills. Okay? Even if there is a regime change operation, it will not change the dynamics of the conflict.
Sure.
Will remain steadfast.
Yeah.
Okay? Our position is clear. It doesn't matter who takes power in Cameroon. The only exception could be that person takes power in Cameroon with the openness and willingness to engage in a genuine negotiation on behalf of Cameroon to bring a peaceful end to this conflict. But that is a choice they have to make, because Mr. Biya at this moment is unwilling.
Yep.
Mr. Biya is unwilling and does not have the capacity and the humility to accept that they have lost the war. So with that in mind, that is the only reason they might engineer a regime change operation to force a negotiated settlement.
Yeah.
Someone who will accept to negotiate is the only reason I believe France and the UK, those two, yes, those are the invisible forces right now driving the game.
They handle us.
They handle us. France and the UK could engineer a regime change operation using the MI15 and the French intelligence secret services to inject a regime change operation. Would they condition this person comes in immediately and say, look, I'm willing to have a genuine discussion with the Ambazonian people. I'm willing to sit down and review the history of Ambazonia and a transparent, genuine negotiation led by the international community with our backers.
Yeah.
But in any case, Ground Zero study, remember, we already put a plan in place, the takeover plan. So any deterrent, any uprising, any collapse of La Republique, there is a plan in place. The takeover plan is already in place. And Ambazonian forces are reviewing this plan, rehearsing, and making a lot of preparations, which is, these are things I cannot even speak in the public. You can never speak in the public. You don't have the permission and the authority to speak in the public about those things. So the plan is in place.
Yeah. Thank you. My fellow comrade, as always, we are at the top of the hour. I really want to thank you very much for your insight analysis, your clarity in explaining to us.
You're thanking me, or I should be thanking you?
No, I'm talking about your in-depth analysis.
No, but it's a conversation.
And putting
together, man.
Yeah, I know, but I might put questions in place and you break it down for people to really see the raw deal of where we are and how determined we must be in this fight for our liberation.
Because questions are the answers. Without
yes,
there will be no answer.
Well,
because you have eloquent questions, right?
Yeah.
You pull out the answers through us.
Yeah. No, I want you told us that we should. I mean, we had an agreement that we should always make sure that people are, they're saturated, and we don't want to oversaturate them. At least we are really at the top of. Yeah.
You said the program next week will be in Pidgin, right? Yes.
Yes, it will be in Pidgin, my brother. So without much ado, comrade, I want you to give the last word to our people, to continue to maintain their hope, and also instill in them the confidence in our fight to liberate ourselves from the genocidal and invading regime that invaded our land and has never left. So what do you have to tell our people as last word of hope to our people?
Look, every Ambazonian should pay attention to what's happening on the ground. Every Ambazonian should pay attention to the action that the forces are carrying out on a daily basis. The offensive intensity is extremely high. Or the intensity of our offensive actions, it's extremely high.
Mm-hmm.
La Republique is on the run. And then they run now. No be na we. And see forces that they ask them where them they. Now we this don't take over barrack.
Yeah.
For broad daylight. They run. So the forces that they do well, be strong. Be strong. And things that they enter.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, they are hard. Because at the second generation, the first generation, the commanders, the leaders, They pass on the wisdom, the knowledge, the tactics, the experience. The second generation, they bring new raw energy backed up by wisdom. And they deliver nkumkum to La République on a daily basis. They feed them nkumkum and nkui.
Yeah.
Would feed them with nkumkum and kui. Then they taste them every day.
Yeah.
Only this week alone, if we calculate how many La République La République soldiers, they don't die. And I see the action where we just come up for Donga. Forces they harvest 4 sticks. One action. And the place are there. Ambazonia is dominating, leading, taking control, and La République they on the run. Diplomatically, they're the same thing. They're the same thing. You go for prisoners. You see the message where Sissoko, they send them out. You see the message where Adub Karo, they send them out. You see the message where Dr. Cho, they send them out. Across the board, there is this synergy, this momentum of oneness for choke La République for all angles. The only way we as a people will be free now for choke La République until they stop for breathe. But the only choice I would get them. Mr. Bia don't choose say no go negotiate because negotiation is a shame, a defeat for Mr. Bia. So we come for a point where the only option we get them for commit suicide. Because if you nothing negotiate, they no go live and make it exist. And they want to make their country they come out for this palaver where they get them. They not fight the war with Boko Haram, where they be sponsored primarily by the United States. Yes, when I listen to Senator Perry, they don't give the information for out there for now how much money these Western countries they pump them into Boko Haram. But we'll get that subject another day.
Yeah.
We'll bring the video player for now. So wait till the time for talking and say, La République not fight the war against Boko Haram, not to talk of the war against Ambazonia. Enough. So La République, the end for La République don't come. Now at the time for every mommy, papa, Pekin, pay your liberation tax.
Yep.
2025, we all must get vexation for our heart enough, must get enough pain for talk say, we don't live under Cameroun, their terror enough. We don't suffer too much under Cameroun. Where people don't over die under Cameroun, where people they don't be raped under Cameroun. Thousands of Ambazonians, they don't be jailed under Cameroun. Dr. Cho there for jail. Sissoko did jail. Abdul Karim did jail. Mancho BBC did jail. Tassan did jail. Make all these things. The pain we enough, but that pain become inspiration for say the time don't come now for end Cameroon presence for Ambazonia. We must arm every fighter on the ground and put enough IEDs on the ground so that one day may not be only one ammo car, maybe 5. The way Cameroon go surrender. Now when 5 ammo car, it don't scatter. 5 soldiers for each ammo car, their body part they don't scatter. Now 5 times 5, 25. 5 ammo car, Cameroon don't lost 2.5 million for one day. That day, Cameroon government will call for negotiation. So we must make ground zero, make it hot enough. This their colonial election will come, so that any witch man when a dog born, the moment he enter inside Ambazonia, now SSF will go explain them for Satan, what to make him
what's happening for you
come from Ambazonia. The ground must hot. Where any person will cross from La République, say one can conduct election for Ambazonia. Now SSF will see itself for hellfire in front Satan.
Mhm.
Then Satan go tell you, say, why we be so stupid? You know how that place be there. When I be the warn you, you say no, you want go carry CPDM uniform for go for Ambazonia. You no say Ambazonia, na no-go zone. Ambazonia na no-go zone for CPDM and for the blue terrorists. So we must turn the ground upside down through our actions. Now, our actions, not be what talk, what collective actions. Now, the public, they almost want die. Now, time this way, we must bury the republic. And they talk this all today. If you never pay a liberation tax, pay a liberation tax. And make what happen for America, where they want send back 24,000 Ambazonians and another 16,000 Cameroonese. Maybe a wake-up call because it go bad.
Thank you so much, spokes. Thank you so much. As always, I would tell Ambazonians and may they join we next week again. We get a weekly show for continue for handle this liberation and for continue for move along with them. Just like the spokes don't talk. Would you see this action? Would this administration is trying to take them for illegal migrants and for America? We could mind with self say you know go end of America. Once they start instituting, you go for Europe and it will come down to the next level where even the ones that illegally stay for there, you find yourself in a little bit of problems, you go follow suit. So it
already start for Europe, by the way.
Okay. So we there for the position as Ambazonians MC. The only place we will get and the only thing we will get for this world in our own Ambazonia. Start the look for source for pay a liberation tax. Start to figure out where you need for pay a liberation tax. Start to check whose side they pay liberation tax. They go contribute there. Now a collective struggle we all. The last thing we Ambazonians go think of and we go think of and we go even do. Now will be in despair and I will feel miserable. Nothing. We don't want to be out of question. Nobody's confident. Only we could do this work. I'll get all the resources available for free ourselves. Once more, folks, I thank you so much. I do have my heart for you for honoring our people and for continuing to do this service for them.
Your place the logistics. Your place over day. Over the last weeks, were constant discussion, me and you. They change the dynamics as to how we all need for the operate. Right? The more all we start for do teamwork and get this kind of education for our people then. You find that for the do one-man show.
Yeah.
The more you want, you can talk.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to thank you plenty for opening your platform for me and you for to get this discussion then. I encourage other Ambazonians for to do the same. They say two heads, they be better than one. Two heads, they be better than one. And they talk say place where one or two more than a place where 2 or 3 are gathered. Afraid God day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, my brother.
Join as we come, so we join our mob together. That spirit, a different spirit than if you become out you one, if I become out me one. A different spirit. Brother. So I want to thank you plenty for your. I want to thank you plenty for you get sense, man.
No.
Person for campaign, any person who wants to show need for prepare.
No. Now, both of us.
The question we ask him, if person not prepared, you can make look very stupid.
No, both of us. Now join, now teamwork, now team spirit, now teamwork, and we'll continue for doing so.
All my place, the commanders.
All my place, the fighters, them, we commanders, them, we generals, them, everybody will place the war. We'll continue for do the work. We'll continue for stand with una, and the war it continue. The battle for liberation from Ambazonia, it be non-negotiable. No need for any Ambazonian to feel despair. No need for things for feel say be miserable. No need for call misery. Raise your head high. Stand tall. the Amazonian real estate now for me and you. Just like a spokesperson for a GovC don't talk. Would you see what did happen across the world? Some of us who don't feel extremely comfortable wherever we day. Now I think you run around the whole place. Any least mistake, they go boot you out. And the worst thing will go happen for you as Ambassador, to throw you for another country, we don't know. Somewhere where you know even if you call home, inside jail. Now the moment this as the spokesman talk, for a rallying cry, for what should you say happen for the West, for all ambassadors to stand up, contribute, support this revolution in any way, shape, or form for free homeland. And the only place I will call and say home, no matter what you do, I'm across the globe, the only home will get an ambassador. And one thing I want to ambassador and say with you, the fight for ambassador and fight not just for freedom, also for sovereignty. A lot of lands for Africa, they begin freedom. Then we fight for sovereignty. We gain a fight for freedom and sovereignty. Stand firmer. No need for despair. No need for feel miserable. No need for get self-pity. We sons them and daughters, they don't fall. Young picking them for battlefield. The courage they be get them for fight for battlefield. Not for free ambassador. We all be come up for 2017, September 2017. North, south, east, west. Because we want freedom. That light is shining for all we will not forget. And will continue to fight. I want for really thank the spokes are thank the fighters for ground. You are doing a tremendous job. Fako Brigade, una place ide. Mezan Brigade, una place ide. Ndian Brigade, Manu Brigade, the Bui Brigade, Bui Military District, una place ide. All nationalist fighters across the territory, una place ide. One spirit, we are all in this together. Homeland or death. I thank all now. When I join you again next week, me and the spokesperson for AGOVC will continue to shine more light for this revolution. And for little people know what to fight them. So we better be prepared. May everybody run go pay liberation tax. And the law of the land. I thank you all. Now stay optimistic. Don't blink. Okay.
Shake, shake, no day, our voice will resound. Ambazonia's people will never back down. The chains are broken, the pain is gone. Freedom is ours, and a new day has dawned. Shake, shake, no day, no day, no day. Rise to the day, the day, the day. Shake, shake, no day. Amazonia stands strong, we're marching forward, where we belong. From the rivers to the peaks, our strength will grow. The dreams of our forebears in us brightly glow. Our heroes, heroines, their fire still burns. We honor their fight with the justice we've earned. Shake, shake the mountain. No day, no day. Rise to the day, the day, the day. Shake, shake, no day. Amazonia stands strong. We're marching forward, where we belong. We are building today for the children to come. No more tears, no more sorrow for anyone. Our flag will rise high, its colors displaying. Ambazonia's bright future starts today. Shake, shake, homeland. No day, no day. Rise to the day, the day, the day. Shake, shake, no day. Ambazonia stands strong. We're marching forward where we belong. We'll shake off the fear and cast out the doubt. Our spirits will rise, there's no turning out. Freedom is our anthem, justice our creed. Shake, shake, no day. With love we will lead. Shake, shake, but then no day, no day. Rise to the day, the day, the day. Shake, shake, no day. Amazonia stands strong. We're marching forward where we belong. Shake, shake, no day. The future is bright. Ambazonia will shine like a beacon of light. With every heartbeat, our message will be sent. Shake, shake, no day, until the very end. A cruise boy to sing.
Welcome to ACN.